Hello and welcome to the video. This video is an audio interview with Ben, who's the owner of 3DXR. Now, you'll have come across 3DXR in a couple of videos. I tend to get a play date up here at 3DXR, up here in the northeast of England. 3DXR are the people that I buy all of my Cube flight controllers from, and also my all of my FR Sky, things like receivers and stuff. They always seem to have it in stock. But whenever I come up here, Ben has lots and lots of really cool stuff over all of the benches, and as you can see from these images, there's 1,000,001 projects going on all the time. I rather feel like a little kid at Christmas time when I come here. But Ben has just come back from China, where he went out there to learn about the updates to the new Cube flight controllers, what commonly or used to be referred to as Pixhawk 2.1. So the branding's changed a little bit, so it's now known as the Cube. And for those of you that have been watching the channel for a while, you've seen me use a Cube in quite a few things actually. It's a really brilliant flight controller for those that want super smooth, stable flight, rock solid GPS mission flying, things like 3D mapping, surveying, stuff like that, or just putting it in a model that you can pretty much guarantee that if something goes wrong, it will fly back to you. The Cube is the one that I go for. Now, I put it inside a plane, and last time you saw it, it was inside the S9000 Resurrection that we did, where we got a big hexcopter, ripped out all the DJI gubbins from the middle of it and put the Cube in instead, and that was the last time you saw it. So Ben, thank you again for hosting me here and putting up with my incessant questions, but we've just had a chat very briefly about the stuff that you found out when you're in China. So can you share the stuff that you're allowed to under NDA with me about what's going on with the Cube? Because I believe we're not just getting a black one that we all know and love that everyone's seen in my videos. There's also been a green one that's been knocking around that was just for the 3DR Solo, and that one gave, I think it was a 5-volt output for the servos, but it looks like we've got a rainbow of colours now. Can you talk a little bit about what you found out?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, exactly. We've got a rainbow of cubes coming out. So first of all, in October, there was a ArduPilot conference in Suzhou, China. So that was sponsored by the manufacturers of the Cube flight controller, so the Cube previously known as Pixhawk 2.1. So as well as some new product launches, it was general presentations by key developers in the ArduPilot community, and it's great to see and meet some of the users and developers from such a wide industry. So yeah, so some exciting news for all you Cube fans out there. So we've had the Cube Black now been out for about 2 or 3 years. Very stable, trusted and reliable product running the F4 processor. And as Lee mentioned, the Green Cube. So the Green Cube was originally brought out to replace the Cube inside the 3DR Solo. So that's a simple modification that can be done and highly recommended for anybody that has a Solo, is to upgrade it to a Green Cube, enabling all the new features of ArduCopter. So yeah, they're both F4 processors. What we're going to have coming out shortly is the Cube Mini, Cube Slim, or Purple Cube, however you'd like to call it. This is about half the physical size or height of the Cube Black. Same processor, same functionality, but in order to make it smaller, they've removed some of the vibration dampening and the heating element. So this Cube Purple is aimed at rover users, or to go into boats, or to anything where the size is important. There is also a new carrier board, so the Mini carrier board. It essentially has all the same connectivity as the full-size carrier board, but again you've halved the footprint, allowing you to use the Cube in much more applications.
Now, the one I'm showing in these videos is kind of a prototype one. The final ones, I believe, actually will have a case. I know you're 3D printing the ones for these, but it is going to look more like the other carriages, isn't it, when it's finished?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's full retail packaging. It's in a black case, labelled, and the necessary cable packs you would need to get it up and running.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll introduce you to another Cube that's about to go into production shortly. So the Blue Cube. Now this was sort of an industry request. It's essentially the same as the Black Cube, but it is all made in America. So this is for US customers, maybe people selling into the military, or building applications that need to be made in America. So it's going to be produced in a ITAR-approved factory, and yeah, all US made. So essentially the same hardware as a black cube, but made in the US. Probably expect to pay about twice the price, maybe 2 to 3 times the price, just for the increased cost of manufacture. These will be made on smaller runs and in a more expensive factory, if you like. And then we have the, if you like, the upgraded processor ones coming out. So first we'll see something called a Cube Yellow. So we get the same physical size as the Cube Black, and this is going to have the F7 processor in there. And it has all the same vibration isolation and temperature controls.
Now, interestingly, you were talking to me about the fact that there's been a change to the underlying architecture for the software inside these things, which is going to give even the F4 Black version that we all know and love a little bit more headroom. Can you just explain a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, so at the time of doing this recording, they're changing over to what's called a Shibios, which is the underlying firmware on the board. Previously it was using the PX4 flight stack, and Shibios has essentially freed up about half the resources on the Cube Black. So although a F7 processor is coming out, for most people the Cube Black will be absolutely sufficient for the next couple of years, and I guess because it's been out there the longest, it is the most proven stable technology to use. But yeah, people doing a lot of customization to the code and maybe wanting to run other processors on there, the F7, there is a need for it. So that will be out shortly, and after that we will also have a Cube Orange. Now, if the F7 wasn't enough for you, there's an H7, which is twice as fast again. And again, there's some users out there that want this extra processing power because they will be doing more on the Cube and more development. But like I say, for the average user, you won't see the benefit with these faster processors.
So thank you for going through that. I know there's a red one that there isn't information about at the moment. Can we very quickly talk about the carriages? Because not only have you showed me the little one that we've just talked about, there's also a bigger version as well kicking around. What's that about? That's the next that I'm showing pictures of right now.
Yeah. So the flight controller is just this cube bit. What you attach it to, we call the carrier board. And there's a few different versions available now. It is essentially a pinout, if you like, with a power selection module on there.
So basically you've got lots of different options now for the carrier board. Yep. What happened to the Edison? I need to ask you that, because Intel kind of retired it, and it kind of stopped being a thing, didn't it?
Well, essentially, when Intel stopped manufacturing them, the supply eventually dried up. It wasn't worth doing the production runs for the carrier boards.
Fab. Okay.
There is a need for a similar product, so I believe they are working on their own companion computer, a similar footprint to the Edison.
Fab. Thank you for that. So basically, for those of us that are using the Cube, as it's now called, formerly called Pixhawk 2.1, I feel like I'm talking about Prince, then we're kind of going to stick with that, unless we go for the purple one where we may need a smaller setup, or we're going to use it for a rover or a boat or sub or something. Yeah. Now, there was something else that you talked about, which I am super excited about, which is called the Herelink. Can you talk a little bit about what the Herelink is? Because this, just while Ben's finding the notes about that, and if it does what it says on the tin, this potentially could be the start of the next generation of FPV systems that we've all been waiting for. So, fingers crossed. So go on, Ben, what's this?
So, well, this is what a lot of people have been waiting for. The Herelink, it's a video transmission and control system. It's made by the same manufacturer as the Cube, so Hex Technology, but it will work as a standalone video transmitter. And basically, very clever bit of technology. What people want to hear is you can have a full HD video transmission, and on the FCC power settings up to 20 kilometers. Here in the UK and the European settings, you're looking at in ideal conditions, a maximum transmission up to 12 kilometers. There's a very clever bit of kit. It's essentially an Android tablet It's communicating over 2.4G using LTE technology. Some of the nice features of the unit here is it'll do control as well, and you have dual HDMI inputs on the video transmitter end. So at launch, this will be able to switch between 2 inputs. In the future, it will you'll be able to do stuff like picture-in-picture. The Android tablet at the minute will run Q Ground Control or Solex, and as with all the this audio pilot community, you can do your own development, and you will be able to edit and add features as you need to.
So the thing I'm excited about this is there is a multi-core CPU, so you are going to be able to do potentially picture-in-picture, or overlay your on-screen display from the Mavlink data from the Cube, but also it has some internal storage. So that means hopefully you'll be able to save the HD stuff down. As we're having this conversation with Ben, all the information that we've got, I mean, Ben, you actually had your hands on it physically, didn't you, and saw it in China.
Very nice, yes.
Very nice. Didn't manage to sneak it into your pocket to bring it home, sadly. But I believe you were saying it's going to be about £800, $800 is kind of the target price for the system.
That's the ballpoint, yeah, and these will update you with the prices as that information becomes available. We're expecting some units to arrive here in December this year, with larger production runs early next year. But yeah, that's at a price point. There isn't really anything like it with that quality of image transmission.
When you get one in, Ben, I am going to drive back over here and I'm going to sit on your desk until you let me have a go.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm really excited about this for is if this works, because this is kind of all the promises that Connex gave us that a lot of us struggled with and didn't quite get the experience with. If we're talking about 12-kilometer ranges, that means even within line of sight, we're going to get really nice HD images. The exciting thing about that, this could be the basis, if it works as well as it does, for the next generation of FPV technology, where we're looking at 720p screens rather than the 640 by 480. So rather than have the base station as it is with the screen and all the other bits and bobs, if that could be miniaturized and it had a HDMI out and a port to plug the LiPo battery into the side, you could Velcro that to the side of the goggles, or even have a goggle-based module. So I am really excited about this. So you got to promise me you will call me when they arrive.
Absolutely, yes.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of people eager for these, and like I say, you will actually have a full HD screen in front of you. And yeah, so the quoted ranges, obviously make sure you fly to the legal limits and responsibly. Sometimes it's nice to see these bigger numbers because you'll be having a quality feed up to even 500 meters away if you're abiding by the rules.
Ben, thank you very much for the update. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you everyone for listening. So that is the update for the Hex technology with the Cube, as it's now called, and also the Herelink. I'll put links in the description. If you found that video useful or like the content, then please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you want to go the extra step, you can become a Patreon of the Painless 360 channel and help provide support for what I do here. All the videos created here are put into playlists, so if you're interested in a particular topic, have a look at the playlist, and they all are organised in there to make them easier to use. If you're not sure if there's a video for your particular problem or topic you want to know more about, then add Painless 360 to the Google search term that you're interested in, and that should find the video, article or content about the particular thing that you're interested in having a look at.